Hi everyone, Happy New Year. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Now I'm here today to do my Christmas book haul. I was really quite lucky this year actually in that I got quite a few books, but I also got vouchers to spend in bookshops and some money to spend on books as well. And I must apologise if you can hear the rain because it is raining really hard at the moment and it's hammering down on the windows, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to get started on my Christmas book haul now. I was really lucky and I got given 3 books this year for Christmas. The first book was from my really lovely friend Victoria, who blogs at victorialoves.blogspot.com, or it might be WordPress, I really can't remember, but I will link her down below. And she really kindly brought me Will Grayson by John Green and David Leviathan, which I am so excited to read because I absolutely adore John Green and David Leviathan as well. I've read one of his books recently and it's really going to be interesting to see how they work as a team and work to write this book. The reason why Victoria bought this for me was because she asked me what kind of books I was looking for, and I said that I really wanted to read this one, so she really kindly brought this one for me and sent it to me for Christmas. So thank you, Victoria. I'm so excited to read this, and a review will be up for this really soon because I honestly can't wait to get stuck into it. So that's the first book that I got for Christmas. The second 2 books that I got were books that I wasn't expecting and books I didn't ask for. They were given to me by my auntie and her partner, and both of them I was really happy with when I got them, but they were books that I wasn't kind of thinking I was going to get, so it was really nice to get them. The first one is called Right to be Published by Nicola Morgan. Now, they all know, and everybody else knows if you follow me on Twitter and Facebook and my blog, is that I'm trying to write my own novel. So it was really interesting to get this book, which kind of talks about how to write a book to have it publishable. And it had really good reviews on Amazon as well, and I've kind of seen this about for quite a while, and I've kind of always said, oh, should I buy it, should I not buy it, and I've kind of always put it down and not bought it, but the fact that I've now got it is really exciting. Those are kind of books that you can't really read all in one go and review it. It's going to be a book that I'm just going to kind of dip in and out of to look at different sections of, because there's lots of different parts to this book about kind of what the publishers want, how to write it in the right way, what you do before you write, how to plan, writing for the right genre, and all those kinds of things. So I'm definitely going to be flicking in and out of this book as I write, and we'll definitely kind of give an update on how it is and whether it's a really good book or not. I'll probably review it on Amazon, so I'll link to that when I finish kind of reading it or flipping through it. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. And the next book that I got from them was a book that I've never heard of before, and it's a book, like a series of books and a compilation that I've never heard of before. So again, it was really interesting to find another new book, new author. And this is the Best British Short Stories of 2013, and it's edited by Nicholas Royal, and I'm not quite sure who he is, but this was a really cool gift because it's got loads of different short stories from British writers, which is really good because I've never really read a compilation of short stories before. The only short stories I've ever read have been short stories that authors have published themselves in like just a single one. I've never really read an anthology of them, so it'll be really interesting because I'm not too sure who any of these authors are. I have had a flick through the contents and I don't recognise any of the writers' names, so it'll be really interesting to see whether I can discover some really good authors through here. And also it's good because they're all British authors, and also it's good because they're all going to be really different. I think they're all going to be different genres, different lengths, different kind of styles, so it'll be really interesting to see how each author differs. And again, I don't think this is the kind of book that I'm going to read all in one go. I think this will be the book I kind of dip in and out of, so I might read a couple of short stories, then go to another novel, then come back and read another couple of short stories before getting on to the next novel. So I definitely will review this, but I probably will take a little bit of time to read this because I won't read it all in one go, because I think it could get a little confusing, I think, if I was to read it them all back to back all in one go. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Then for Christmas, my really lovely friend Tanya bought me a £10 Waterstones voucher, and I went into Waterstones and I spent it really quickly. The first book that I got is actually downstairs in my bookcase because I've already read it, and that's Ketchup Clouds by Annabelle Pitcher, and I absolutely adored that book. It was just phenomenal, and I've reviewed it, and the review will be up on the 5th, I think. That's the first review I'm going to publish when the blog goes live again, so I'm really excited to share that one with you. And Waterstones were doing an offer which was buy one get one half price, so I managed to pick up 2 books for £11, so I only had to pay £1, which was really good because I had the gift card. And the second book I picked up was An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. As I've already said, I absolutely love John Green, and after reading The Fault in Our Stars, I've gone round and I've picked up all of his other books ready to read them. and I'm kind of about a quarter of the way through looking for Elastigirl at the moment, and I'm loving that one. So I picked up this one. The first thing that attracted me was the cover, because obviously it's beautiful, but I love like the kind of issuing they're doing of the covers now, because they're all kind of following the same kind of style, which is really nice, the same kind of font style, which looks really, really lovely on a bookcase together. As you know, I'm really fussy about book covers, but this has had really good reviews, and I love the sound of it, and I just think this will be really, really good because it's John Green, and John Green, in my eyes, can do no wrong, so I'm so excited to start this one. Then for Christmas, my lovely grandparents gave me a cheque, which I was going to save, but then the bookshop called my name, and I went to the bookshop, I went to the works, and I picked up some books. I only spent £15 in there, so I still got a little bit left of the cheque, but these are the books that I bought when I went to the works. Now, I started by picking up Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohen and David Leviathan, and it was really kind of strange because I'd just finished reading this book that I borrowed from the library, and I went into the works and I saw it in there for sale, so I thought, well, I'll get myself my own copy, because I really enjoyed reading it, but obviously I have to return the library copy back to the library. This was the first kind of book that I've written that's been co-written by two different authors. Rachel Cohen and David Leviathan have written this book together, and it's really strange because I've never read a book from that, in that kind of style before, in that way, written in that way, so it was really interesting to see how two authors could write together but still keep a really smooth and slick style and have the storyline flow so smoothly. So I'm definitely going to be looking at more of their books, especially Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, which I think they wrote before they wrote this one, so I'm really excited to read that one as well. But I just picked this one up because I thought it would look nice on the bookshelf, and I can also return to it because I think I definitely will reread this quite a few times. So that's the first book that I picked up in the works. Then because, oh, I'm dropping all over the place, then because this is published by Mirror Inc. or Myra Inc., the publisher, I found this book which was published by the same publishing company, and I thought, well, if they've published Dash and Lily, then they're probably quite good publishers. So I picked up Here Lies Bridget by Paige Harbison. Can Death Be a Fresh Start? Now, I didn't really read the blurb, I just kind of picked it up and thought this looks really good. And I think this again is a YA novel, which I'm kind of really getting into YA at the moment, which is good because I haven't really kind of delved into it that much before. But this, I think, is a little bit of a kind of, not fantasy, but it's kind of bordering on that element of, like, what happens is that she gets trapped between life and death, and she kind of relives her life through different people's eyes. So I don't really know how you'd kind of categorise that into, like, it's not really fantasy, it's not really dystopian, I'm not really sure how you would categorise it, but it's not something I would normally read because I'm really rigid in my reading, like, guidelines, and I don't like reading things that aren't very realistic. So it'll be interesting to see whether I enjoy this or not, and it's quite a short book, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. Then, because I'm obviously on my massive YA binge at the moment, I picked up another two books, and I've never heard of this author before, I've never heard of these books before, but the covers really kind of intrigued me and invited me in, and the blurbs seemed quite fun and easy, so I picked up Emma Loves LA and Jessie Hart's NYC by Keris Stainton, and I think they're basically just kind of, what's the word, like quick, fun, flirty, romantic teenage reads that I'll get through really, really quickly. The writing, the font's quite big, and it's not very long. I think they're only like 250 pages each, so I'll be interested to see whether this author's good or not, because I think she's written quite a few books like along this style. I'm not quite sure, as I've said, I've never heard of her before, but there's in both of the back there's another one called Della Says OMG, which is by the same author. So I'll be interested to see whether I want to purchase and read that one after I finish these two, but these were both in the 3 for £5 offer, which is also where I picked up these two. Even though I didn't do the 3 for £5, I went for 4 and had to pay £1.99 for one of them, but I thought that was really good. So I'll be interested to see how they are. Then, as I was kind of making my way towards the till, another 3 books happened to catch my eye. The first one, now this is quite a sad book to pick up, but I absolutely adore the TV show Pointless, and I've known that Alex and Richard, the two presenters, had brought out a book, was it last year or the year before, about the 100 the 100 most pointless facts or something like that. And this year they brought out the 100 most pointless things in the world, which I found, and it was only £1.99, and I thought, you know what, I need to read this book, I need to buy it. I picked it up, and I'm really excited because it's just like a kind of non-fiction about really pointless things in the world, which will be really interesting because I love pointless and I love finding out loads of random and pointless information to fill my brain with, so I'm really excited about giving this one a read. And I think this will be the kind of book that I will read all in one go. You could flick through it and kind of read a little bit at a time, but I kind of think that this will be one that I can get through really quickly and read in quick succession, so I'm really looking forward to that one. Then, as I was nearing the till, I also saw this one sitting on a shelf, and this is called The Book Lover's Companion, What to Read Next. And I'm not sure who it's actually written by. I think it's just kind of like a compilation. The foreword is written by Lana Shriver, but I don't think she actually wrote this book. But basically it's quite a thin book, but it's about what books to read next. If you're ever stuck and you're looking for a book to read, then you can flick through this, and it's got loads and loads of different books in it, like that you should read and what you could read next. And if you've read this book, what other books you might like that are like this one, if that makes sense. So for example, one of them is The Pact by Jodi Picoult, which I've actually already read, and it gives you all the information at the top about when it was published and how long it is, and then it's got information about it's got the blurb, then it's got a reader's opinion, then it's got points of discussion, then it's got background information about the book and the author, and then it's got books here which are like suggested comparison books. So they're the books that you could read if you enjoyed The Pact, the ones that you could read afterwards. And it's really good because this book kind of goes from really old classic books to quite modern books. Like I said, it's got Jodi Picoult in there, and it's got one by Emma Donoghue called Room, which I think was like 2008 it was published, so it's quite modern. And this was only, I think on the cover it said it was £2.99, but when I went to the till it was reduced to £1.49, so I was really happy with that. And I look forward to flicking through this and kind of getting an idea about other books that I could read. And then I got home and I was really disappointed because I found that the way that they've done the cover, the way it was cut in the factory, has been really, really shoddily done, so that was really sad because I do like my perfect looking books, but I'm going to give this one a lot of love because it needs some, because it wasn't treated properly. And then my final book that I picked up was a book that I hadn't ever heard of before, and I didn't really want to need to buy it, but I saw the cover and I just thought, right, that's it, this needs to go in the basket. And this is probably the thickest and longest book that I will ever own. And it is Storyteller, The Life of Roald Dahl by Donald Sturrock. Now, I absolutely adore Roald Dahl. Ever since I was little and I read Matilda and the Twits and all of his books, I've always just been fascinated by him and his writing. And I've never really wanted to find out that much about him, like I've never wanted to read a biography about him. But when I saw this, I kind of thought, you know what, I'd really like to know what made him tick, what he wrote, why he wrote it, and kind of learning a bit more about this man, because he was incredible and he wrote some of the most classic children's books that there are today. So it'll be really interesting to find out more about him, and I don't think this will be a kind of book that I read all in one go. I think it will be one that I dip in and out of and read alongside other books, because it's not going to be one that I can read very quickly. But it's really, really beautiful book, and there's pictures in it as well. There's like sections of pictures, and it'll be really, really interesting, I think, to find out more about the amazing man that Roald Dahl was. So that is the last book on my Christmas book haul. I also bought a couple of ebooks. I bought The Universe vs Alex Woods, Gone Girl, and there was another one I can't quite remember, but they were all in the Kindle sale and they were all 99p each, so I thought I'd buy those. And I have kind of read Gone Girl in the past. I kind of read half of it and gave up and flicked through the end because I was getting a bit bored, but I've bought it again because I want to try and reread it and see whether I can get something new out of it this time. And The Universe vs Alex Woods was a book that was kind of highly raved about, and Richard and Judy, I think, did a big thing about it because it was one of their book club reads, so I'm really excited to read that one as well. And I've just noticed, and I must apologise for this mark on my arm, I did just dye my hair, and as you can see I cannot obviously keep the hair dye in the right place, so I apologise if that distracted you throughout the video. But that is my Christmas book haul, and I hope you all had a lovely Christmas, and I hope you got some really lovely Christmas presents as well, especially book presents. So thank you for watching this, and I will be back soon with my January TBR pile. So I'll see you then. Bye guys.